disregard the impact tumbleweeds have had on our lives in America. Tumbleweeds have a highly symbolic meaning in visual media built from a strong association with Western film. In effect, it represents places that are barren, dry, and often humorless, virtually uninhibited. It can be easily related for its use when characters encounter a long, abandoned, or bleak-looking location. Beating sun, the dry sound of hollow wind, cue old Western standoff tune, and a tumbleweed rolling past the set between the grunged-out outlaw and sheriff actors. Throughout the years, though, the tumbleweed's Hollywood stereotype has gone from the black and white westerns to the colorful films that shed a new light on this dusty weed. Now, it is often used for comedic effect, put in places where they won't be expected, like an urban metropolitan area, for example. This is shown to punctuate a bad joke or just to amplify an absurd character statement. We know how popular tumbleweeds are viewed in the media, but what are they without the lights and cameras? As a symbol of the American West, we assume that they've been a part of its land before Columbus came and ruined everything for the Native Americans. In reality, tumbleweeds were unintentionally brought to this country by Ukrainian farmers. The tumbleweed is in fact a weed, but its true name is the Russian thistle. The tumbleweed grows on dry plains, in fields, and on roadsides, usually in grain-growing areas. Unlike the characteristics of a tumbleweed, the Russian thistle is a round, bushy plant that averages about 3 feet tall. When it matures in late summer, it breaks off at the base and tumbles in the wind, becoming a tumbleweed. This tumble effect of the Russian thistle plays a big part in its plant reproduction. It produces up to 250,000 seeds. These numerous plants really aren't considered to have any redeeming value, aside from the entertaining way they tumble about. Some people have come to love them, and tumbleweeds are harvested to sell them to people who make interesting crafts or decorative items out of them. Actually, the city of Chandler, Arizona, creates their official Christmas tree every year from tumbleweed. With all the tumbleweed love must also come the tumbleweed haters, because for a large amount of people, this plant is a big nuisance. Tumbleweeds in the high winds can go across the land in herds and even be taken up into dust devils, which cause a lot of issues for people on the road. Another hazard that these seemingly harmless plants create is fire hazards. As a perfect option for kindling, and also notorious for being able to fly through the wind at great speeds and distances, tumbleweeds can contribute to and even start wildfires. That is dangerous enough, but in recent history, this is a common fear for people living in urban areas near dry lands where mass amounts of tumbleweeds get swept up and invade these towns and homes. These pesky plants can even overrun entire neighborhoods, which require rakes, shovels, and snowplows to clear out the blocked streets and covered cars. People can become barricaded into their homes by the thorny tumbleweeds and have to get outside help or call 911 in order to be freed. Tumbleweeds aren't as innocent as we think. But there's another type of tumbleweed that plagues our cities. The urban tumbleweed. What is an urban tumbleweed? Urban Dictionary defines it as any plastic bag or newspaper tumbling around the city, wind-blown litter. Urban tumbleweeds can be spotted anywhere, along fences, blowing across streets, stuck in plant life, and so on. This trash might seem like a trivial thing, but it contributes greatly to polluting our environment and costs our nation money that can be spent elsewhere. For instance, California alone spends $28 million a year cleaning up and removing litter, or urban tumbleweeds, along its roadways. And once these urban tumbleweeds get free, wind and weather move it from the streets and the highways to parks and waterways. A study found that 18% of trash and litter ends up in rivers, streams, and oceans, which damage the environment, making it harder for fish to survive. This adversely affects the growth and development of animal and plant species, and makes land useless because, unlike actual tumbleweeds, urban tumbleweeds' waste do not decompose. There is an air of appreciation or distaste for the entertainment and uniqueness that the tumbleweed brings. These dead tangles of thistle that seem dreary in reality have a hectic and lively time here on earth. While we should have just as an active time as tumbleweeds, we should also take care of our actions on this earth, because we are the ones that are responsible and prevent the man-made tumbleweeds.